today's video, we're diving into South Africa's growing income inequality, exploring the factors driving this trend and discussing potential solutions. Stick around to understand why South Africa remains one of the most unequal societies in the world and what can be done to address this pressing issue. South Africa is ranked as one of the world's most unequal societies. Our country has the highest income inequality globally, with a Gini coefficient of around 0.67. But what does this mean? The Gini coefficient measures income distribution within a country ranging from 0 to 1. A Gini coefficient of 0 represents perfect equality, where everyone earns the same amount. Conversely, a Gini of 1 represents perfect inequality, where one person has all the income. South Africa's exceptionally high Gini score shows a severe disparity in income distribution. For comparison, Namibia's Gini is 0.59, Zambia's is 0.57, and Mozambique's is 0.54. In contrast, Scandinavian countries have much lower Ginis, between 0.24 and 0.27. Among developed nations, the US stands at 0.41, China at 0.38, and India at 0.35. Brazil, like South Africa, also has high inequality with a Gini of 0.53. So, what's driving South Africa's worsening income gap? There are several key factors. As of June 2023, South Africa's unemployment rate stood at 32.6%. When we include discouraged workers who have stopped looking for jobs, this rate soars to 44.1%. Out of 40.7 million people aged between 15 to 64, only 27.5 million are potentially employable. Of these, just 16.4 million are working, with only 11.3 million in the formal sector. This highlights a major issue. The economy isn't generating enough job opportunities. Among those employed, many work in low-wage sectors. Approximately 3 million people are in the informal economy, 900,000 work in agriculture, and 1 million as domestic workers, all of whom earn very little. Even in the formal sector, wages for non-unionized workers are often very low. The richest 10% of South African households account for around 52% of all expenditure, while the poorest 10% contribute only 0.8%. This disparity reflects the extreme income concentration at the top of the distribution. Is South Africa an outlier? While it's often stated that South Africa has the highest Gini coefficient, this may not be entirely accurate. Many countries with higher inequality might not have available data. Nonetheless, South Africa's data is among the most reliable and provides a clear picture of the country's extreme inequality. What has been done to address this issue? Post-apartheid, the South African government introduced several measures, such as the Employment Equity Act, aimed at reducing race-based inequality. While these measures may have had some success, high-income households, regardless of race, have continued to thrive, leaving overall inequality stubbornly high. So what should be done now? There isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, but a few approaches could help. Focus on ensuring that economic growth benefits everyone, not just the wealthy. This might include increasing incomes for the lowest earners and creating more job opportunities. Improve the quality of jobs and working conditions, and make sure economic growth translates into real employment gains for all. Invest in education, health, and transportation to support marginalized communities and improve their economic prospects. It's important to differentiate between income and wealth inequality. Income inequality measures the disparity in earnings, while wealth inequality encompasses a broader range of assets, including inheritance and property. In South Africa, wealth inequality is even more pronounced. For instance, the top 0.01% own about 15% of the country's wealth, while the bottom 50% have negative net wealth. According to the IMF, South Africa's inequality is driven by a skewed income distribution, regional disparities, and low economic growth. High unemployment and limited job creation are major factors. While fiscal policy has been somewhat effective in reducing inequality, more fundamental reforms are needed for sustained, inclusive growth. These include improving governance, reducing business costs, and making markets more competitive. That wraps up our brief analysis of South Africa's income gap. It's clear that addressing inequality requires a multifaceted approach, focusing on both immediate relief and long-term structural changes. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis and financial education content. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Thank you for watching.